Expressed in the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV, where we bring you educational information from top local experts in the fields of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Now sit back and listen to experts in family law, association law, hearing loss, business brokers, home care, along with many other topics. Now here are your hosts, Steve-O and Sophia.
Hey, good morning, Florida. Welcome to another Ask the Expert show, where for the last 16 years, we have brought you the finest experts in the field of health, legal, financial, and home improvement. Hey, God, can you believe we are in March right now? Hey, this is the first week of March, and that means Monday, our great show that we do with every first and third Monday of the month, Provice Management Group. Let me welcome to the guy who, because of his knowledge, our listeners have been driving me crazy this weekend with questions. Good morning, Ray.
Steve, good morning and happy Monday. And yes, hard to believe we're 62 days into the new year. Definitely time flying fast.
Amazing. Ray, it seems like I always ask this question, but I look at our numbers and we're always adding more and more listeners and viewers. Tell people about Provice Management Group.
Steve, Provice is a financial planning and investment management firm with offices located in Clearwater and Tampa, Florida. We're serving about 1,200 families scattered over 30 plus states and managing about $2 billion on their behalf, along with about another $250 million invested into 401k plans. Provice is a financial planning firm first and foremost. We believe that everybody should have a financial plan. Not that you can't be financially successful without one, but what we know is that with one, you increase the odds of success. And so while people think of us because of our investments and the work that we do there, the great work that we really do is in the planning piece first. And that's why we always offer our listeners a complimentary 1-hour consultation in either our Clearwater or Tampa office, or if outside of the Tampa Bay region or just more convenient, we're always willing to do that as well by Zoom. And if anyone would like to take advantage of meeting with me for 1 hour, all they have to do is give our offices a call at 727-441-9022. That's 727-441-9022.
Ray, right before the show, we promote your show a couple days out. Right before the show, we got a text, gentleman wanting to know, do you mind giving a second opinion? He said, I've used the same management group for the last 4 years, but after listening to your show, I think I'd like to get a second opinion from you. Does your firm do that?
Of course we do. If there's anything we can do to help people in that 1 hour consultation, we certainly do not mind giving a second opinion. But we're not interested in breaking up good relationships with other advisors. If there's something that is disturbing an individual and they want to explore it, we're happy to visit with them. But I just want to stress again, we value our relationship with our clients. We want other good financial planners to do the same. So we're not into breaking up good relationships, but happy to give a second opinion.
A great response, Ray. Right before the show, I told Ray that we start getting emails and text. I guess it started probably late Saturday. And the number one question is, what is the war going to do to the oil prices?
Well, I think the war and the attacks that occurred over the weekend by Israel and the United States on Iran have definitely affected the price of oil. Um, Both the WTI, that's West Texas Intermediate oil, as well as the global oil prices, each climbed about 8% early this morning, with the WTI touching at $70 a barrel, and global oil prices at about $76 a barrel. Obviously, brands oil will be taken off of the market at this point. That's one issue. The second issue is their apparent willingness to attack their neighbors, including the country of Qatar, which is a neighboring company with which they have had a symbiotic, tense but symbiotic relationship over the years, because they share a gas field together, natural gas field together. Um, that's the second. Third is, of course, the Straits of Hormuz. Is Nobody is going to want to go through that right now while a war is waging. That means oil will have to be delivered by going south around Africa, which will raise prices further because of the transportation. So until this all settles down, the price of oil is going to go up. Now, interestingly, many of the countries in the Middle East and other oil producers have pledged to fill the gap in the meantime with Iran off. That will remain to be seen what they're doing. And while that sounds like a good thing, just remember they're raising their production just as prices have gone up 8%. So they're not being totally altruistic in their willingness to increase the oil production around the world. So we're going to see that definitely go up. I think, Steve, it's way too early to tell what's going to happen in Iran and then the subsequent fallout that's going to occur. In these kinds of situations, no matter how well you've planned this and whatever is to follow this, stuff happens. And we have to wait to see how all of that unfolds. Defense companies' stocks were up dramatically this morning. All of the weapons that are being used are going to have to be replaced. So there's a positive aspect, kind of uncomfortable positive aspect to war, from an economic standpoint anyway. So we're just going to have to see how it all unfolds. But clearly, it is going to cause the world economy to be very unstable over the coming weeks and perhaps even the coming months. You don't achieve regime change overnight,
Right.
which is the goal. We don't know whether it's somebody from internal that will fill, whether it'll be one of the folks from the opposition. Even then, we don't know who the military is going to support. So again, if you're a long-term investor, all I can say is this too shall pass at some point. So don't panic. Don't go trying to sell stuff, even if we see a decline in the market that might approach a correction or be a correction at 10% down. Stay the course and do not make drastic changes to your portfolio.
Ray, I mean, there's other things besides oil. What else do you see how this will affect the markets in the coming weeks?
Well, I would suspect that gold will rise rather dramatically. Some had talked about this weekend about Bitcoin going up. It's up a little bit, not worth even talking about. Um, but I would expect the price of gold to be increasing as a result of it. On a worldwide basis, as I said earlier, it's going to cost a lot more money to move goods around, not just oil, but lots of goods around until things settle down. Um, but at the end of the day, hopefully it will end quickly, and that things will stabilize. If not, then we can only hope that there isn't a widening conflict that occurs in the Middle East, which would be very destabilizing for the entire world.
I noticed this morning I was listening to Secretary Heckstaff. They were talking about the war, and it seemed like all the questions from the media is how long is this going to last for? And of course, they're not going to give that information out. So we don't know. And I like the way you say just be patient, don't go crazy, and let's see what happens.
I think that is absolutely the best course. This hopefully is a short-term phenomena, not a long-term phenomena. Uh, we don't know what Israel and the United States have planned at this point. Is this something where they've made these quick hits, killed several leaders, um, and then they're just going to back away and let chaos follow, um, and see who fills the void, or whether it's going to be a sustained period of time that they'll continue to deplete the war resources of Iran. At the moment, and it's purely a guess, I absolutely am not in the know in any way, shape, or form, but I'm going to guess that they're going to take this opportunity to destroy the war machinery of Iran as best they can. As I mentioned, they've been attacking countries around them. I think they did that in hopes that these countries would then try to put pressure on the United States to back away. And I think the opposite is actually happening. I think they are very upset that they're being attacked by Iran, and I think that they're going to encourage the United States to finish the job. But whatever it is, we hope it's swift as far as the war part is concerned, and the military part is concerned. But it's still going to be a long time before we understand all of the financial implications from these events.
Gosh, what is China going to do about their oil supply? They get everything from Venezuela and Iran. Gosh, what's going to happen over in China?
Well, I would imagine that China is going to find itself buying more Russian oil.
Hmm.
India has backed away from Russian oil. Um, Iran and Venezuela both were selling, were buying rather from or selling to um, uh, different places that normally, excuse me, would not be the places we would like to see oil done. So it's going to hurt, and it's going to hurt badly.
Let's go to Jeanette in Naples. She says, I am 58 years old and putting the maximum into my 401k, including the catch up. Why is the catch up provision going into the Roth and not my regular 401k?
Excuse me. So the answer is simple. It's the new law, tax law, the one big beautiful bill that said that on a go forward basis, anybody who is putting money into the catch up provision of the 401k have to put it into the Roth side. The downside of that is that, of course, that means it's not tax deductible. So it's, if you will, basically after tax money that you're putting into the Roth side. And that's the big negative. The big positive is not only is the money going to grow tax deferred, but it's going to grow tax free so that when you take it out, you're not going to pay any taxes on it. And when you move the money out of your 401k and move it into a Roth IRA, unlike a traditional IRA, which has required minimum distributions beginning at age 73 and eventually going up to age 75 in another couple of years, the Roth provision of an IRA does not require any minimum distribution. And the beauty of that is if you're going to be leaving it to heirs, it can continue to grow tax-free for them as well for up to 10 years following your death. Lastly, and perhaps more importantly, from a planning standpoint, once you get into retirement, you have an extra bucket of money to draw from so that you can keep your taxes down by drawing from the Roth side of your IRA as opposed to the traditional IRA. But the reason the government did it this way now is for all the tax breaks that they gave us in the bill, in the one big beautiful bill, they had to take something away, and that's what they took away.
We got a text from John in Boca. I really enjoy your show. I try to catch it every time. If I miss one, I go back and watch it. My question is, now that the big beautiful bill is out, what are your likes and dislikes about it?
Well, let's see. How much time do we have?
Yeah, right.
The bill, by those that were opposed to it, basically said that it was to benefit the rich. And clearly there are some benefits to the rich, the largest being that the tax brackets remain the same rather than reverting back to the way they were before 2017. And that was significant by about 3 percentage points. What the bill did do was to create a series of tax breaks, most of which are going to inure to the middle class. And why do I say that? I say that because there are, for all of the good tax breaks that were put in there, for instance, seniors 65 and older get a $6,000 tax break, but only up to a certain income limit. And after that phases out and eventually goes away, entirely. The same was true on the expansion of the exemption for state and local taxes, commonly referred to as SALT. And that went from 10,000 to 40,000. But again, at certain income levels, it phases out, and eventually, if you have enough income, it goes back to the $10,000 level. So for every yin in this bill, there seems to be a yang that does limit who is able to benefit from it. I would say to you that the biggest issue with the bill, the biggest negative with the bill, is the reduction of income taxes over the next 10 years, which supposedly we're going to be replaced by, much of which is going to be replaced by the tariffs, which have now been declared illegal by the Supreme Court, which creates a whole another can of worms for us to deal with. So we did do a special report on the One Big Beautiful Bill, talking about the pluses and the minuses. And if you'd like to get a copy of that bill, it's still fresh, even though it's been 9 months since it passed. All you have to do is call our offices at 727-441-9022. That's 727-441-9022. Or write me at info at Provise, and that's PROVISE.com. And we'll be happy to send it to you. And certainly don't forget about our complimentary 1-hour consultation in our offices in Clearwater or Tampa or by Zoom. And again, if you'd like to meet with me for an hour, no cost involved, just an opportunity to talk about whatever's on your mind, just give us a call at 727-441-9022.
Ray, a lot of people don't understand after the Supreme Court ruling about the tariffs, because it seems like President Trump is doubling down. I think he went from 10 to 15%. A lot of people don't understand how he can still charge tariffs after the ruling came down.
So the ruling was very specific, Stephen, that it was one section that he was using in a particular law that that allowed him, in his opinion, very broad powers when it came to tariffs, and that's what was struck down. There's still a lot of tariffs that are being charged that existed before April of last year, and there are new ones that he can impose. The one you were just talking about, where he initially said, "I'm going to do that 10%," and then he doubled down with the 15%, is only good for 150 days. After that, that tariff can't continue. And theoretically, the 150 days was to then allow the president, not just President Trump, but a president, the opportunity to convince Congress to make those tariffs permanent. There's a lot of questions about what will happen after that 5-month period of time and those 150 days go away. But in the meantime, he's certainly able to find other ways to try to raise money. And as I said, the big question now is what's going to happen to the $170 billion that were raised as a result of what's now been struck down.
You know, people are really surprised. Oh, I see we've only got a minute left. I've got so many questions here, Ray. I'm going to use a lot of these questions for your next show. You had to do another show with us in 2 weeks, and we have plenty of questions, and no telling what's going to change between now and the next 2 weeks. Tell people again how they can reach you.
They can reach us at 727-441-9022. Sign up for our newsletter, The Provise Perspectives. We send it out every 2 weeks. Take advantage of the complimentary consultation, or, Stephen, as you mentioned, a second opinion.
Yes. Ray, it's good to see you. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Have a great golf tournament.
Thank you very much. We got 2 of them coming up, one this week and one next week. So we'll see what we do.
Okay, do well. We'll see you soon.
See you later. Bye-bye.
That's Ray Ferrara. We're going to go to a short break. We'll be right back.
Thanks for tuning in today to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. Tune in next week and every week to hear more from our experts on personal injury, insurance, air condition repairs, estate planning, Medicare, and many other topics in the areas of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. See you next week.